So today I'm making homemade bread. This is a 5-ingredient homemade bread. This is my great-grandmother's bread from the Depression. She lived through Depression, and that's what they made. It's also vegan, and it just has ingredients. So my little taste tester come here, just so you can see what we're getting into. Mike's telling me something wrong, so. Internet issues. You have to love the internet.
No, it's not the internet.
Oh.
Talk now.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me now? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Mike is not hearing me very well. Why don't you come around here, my cute little taste tester, while Dad is getting the microphone up. Did you get it going?
No, I can't hear it yet. But...
This is my handsome taste tester, and who are you?
Jack.
Jack? Did I just pick you up off the street somewhere so you could taste my bread?
No.
I didn't?
No, I'm your son.
You're my son? You are? Is that why you're so handsome? Because you look like Dad?
Yeah. You're always like this.
I am. Okay, so we're gonna cut some bread here real quick so you can see what we're gonna be working on. So here is the plain bread, and over here, okay. Jack does not like the heel, do you? So I will cut one more. And this one is the cinnamon bread, and can you see how light and fluffy that is? Oh, so fluffy. Okay, take a bite. What do you think?
Can I do both once?
Yep, you can.
Wait, cinnamon. Oh.
Is the cinnamon bread good? What do you think? Did I do a good job?
Mm-hmm.
I was worried for a minute there. Very delicious?
Mm-hmm.
Super, super delicious, huh? My, have you eaten today? Not really, huh? Okay, so I am making my homemade bread. You may eat another bite if you want. You can finish. And this is a super simple recipe. It's just 5 ingredients. This comes from the Depression era. I mean, this is literally the recipe my great-grandmother used in the Depression. And I got it straight from her. All it is flour, yeast, sugar, salt, and shortening. Or margarine, whatever you want to use.
This is so good.
Is it delicious? Is Mom a good bread maker?
Mm-hmm.
So what you do is it your Mike's having audio problems. Is it your fan on your computer?
No, it's. I wonder if everyone's having their audio going okay now or no.
Can everyone let me know if the audio is okay? Give me a thumbs up or a comment, please. Mike is he's listening and he's having audio issues. So if you can hear it, please let him know if it's okay.
You're fine. Okay.
Okay, so since everybody else says we're fine, we're just going to ignore Mike, and I'm just kidding. Okay, so this is not the way you traditionally make bread, but as you can see how fluffy and soft that is, it works really well. So you take your yeast, your sugar, your salt, and your shortening. I use shortening. You can use margarine or butter if you want. Shortening makes it a little fluffier. And then you pour your hot water in. Now, you can test your hot water. It needs to be about 115 degrees if you have a thermometer. But the way to test is if you can put your finger in it, it should be hot enough that you can not... Let me think how I describe this. You put your finger in it, and it shouldn't burn your finger, but you shouldn't really be able to leave your finger in there either. It should be very warm. And I never use a thermometer. That's just how I test it, is I just stick my finger in there, test if it's warm. This is just about perfect. Now this is slightly on the warm side. So since it's slightly on the warm side, I'm going to add a little bit of flour to slow down the heat so it doesn't mess up my yeast. Because if your water is too hot, your yeast will die. And if it's too cold, your yeast won't activate and rise. So then you just start stirring. Mike's going to go down here so you can see. And this bread, it literally takes me 5 minutes to mix it up. I mean, it doesn't even take any time at all. And this is just the regular yeast from the store. You can get the bulk yeast if you want. They have it in bulk packages, and what I do is when I buy the bulk yeast, I put it in a smaller jar to keep in my cabinet. And then I freeze the rest. So then start adding your flour, and Mike will put the link to this recipe on Facebook, and it's in the description below. It's at livingonadime.com, homemade bread, how to make homemade bread. What do you think, Mr. Taste Tester Man? Is that delicious? You ate both of those pieces?
Mm-hmm.
Was it good? Do you want another piece? Or are you full?
This one.
You want the regular? Okay, we'll cut Jack here another piece so he can make it through the show. See, isn't that lovely, fluffy bread? Just 5 ingredients, too. 5 ingredients in 5 minutes. Then you just stir your bread dough until you don't want it to be sticky. So I get all my water mixed in.
Heather says, can you add raisins in the cinnamon bread to make it cinnamon raisin bread, and do you have to change the recipe to do that?
Heather wants to know if you can add raisins in the cinnamon bread to make cinnamon and raisin bread. And yes, you can. And no, you do not have to change the recipe. So see how this is, really thick? All right, so then I smush it all off. Need to get a drink here. Then I'm going to take my bread and I'm going to knead it. Now, a lot of people will knead on the table. I knead in my bowl, and that's exactly how my great-grandmother did it.
We'll give a couple other questions.
And you just take and scoop. Whoa! Okay, you scoop all your, take and scrape down the sides with all your dough. And like this, and then we'll start kneading. Okay, questions?
Anna's saying, is the recipe in the Dining on a Dime book because I don't know the amounts, and somebody else said they missed the measurements. And this is on YouTube, so the link is in the description.
The link is in the description on YouTube, and in Dining on a Dime cookbook, right here, Dining on a Dime, it's on page 71, right there. Dining on a Dime. We are back ordered on Dining on a Dime, but we should get them around October 1st. So if you want to order now, you will get a free menus from Dining on a Dime with it when I send them out.
Somebody said, do you not have to proof your yeast?
Not in this recipe. You do not proof your yeast in this recipe. That's why I like this recipe, because it's just throw it all in and get going.
And Teresa said, I thought the salt would kill the yeast.
It does not. That they say it does, but it doesn't kill it. Yes. What?
I'll just want a drink.
Oh, you need a drink? There you go. You don't have to stay for the whole show if you don't want to. You can. I'm sure they would love to look at your handsomeness.
Quiet Spirit says, can I put this in a bread machine?
Yeah, you can. Just follow the directions for, well, no. So this makes 2 loaves. So you would have to have the recipe, and you would need to follow your bread machine. So like if your yeast goes in first or whatever, then that's what you would do. The order of ingredients according to your bread machine. So see how it's starting to get where it's not sticky anymore? That's the point you want to get. And to knead, you just fold it over and push down. 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 It's getting slightly sticky, just a teensy tiny bit more flour.
Lots of people are complaining about crackling sound, but there's nothing I can do except stop the show and
Okay.
10 minutes and start it over.
So, do you guys want us to completely stop the show and start over again? Because we don't know what the crackling sound is. So, comment and let us know if you want us to totally start over again.
We'll have to pause for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, it'll take about 10 minutes to stop if you want. We have no idea what the crackling sound is. Can you see if the connections are all?
Well, I think I need to unhook everything and restart everything and reconnect to the internet and reconnect to all those places.
What?
Is it the fridge?
No, it's not the fridge, but thank you.
It's because the mic.
Okay,
the
so
mic.
are they wanting us to restart or not?
Most people say keep going.
Okay, well, we'll keep going. Of all weeks, this week has not been the best week for video production for us. I had a major interview this week that ended up not working out, and I'm going to have to refilm it. And now this. And I was thinking this would be a fairly big video. Okay, so you want it to get to the point where, see how it doesn't really stick to my hands? I mean, I have, here, let me show you. Okay, so see how it doesn't really stick to my hands? That's where you want to get to that point, okay? So then what you're going to do is you're going to divide this in, or no, what you're going to do first is you're going to put it in your bowl and you're going to let it proof for about 45 minutes to an hour, and this is what it'll look like. And what I do is I take my oven and I turn on my oven to 100 degrees until it gets to 100 degrees, turn it off, and then turn the oven light on, and then that gives it just a little bit of extra heat to boost it, to get it to rise really nice and fluffy. This is great especially in the winter because there's always not enough heat. Today it was warm here, so I didn't have to do that because it's summer still. But are you done or are you hiding? Oh, thank you for giving me a kiss. So then when it gets to this stage, you're going to squish it down. Let me set this one over here and I'll start it rising. We're going to have 8 loaves of bread today. Oh, and I forgot to tell you this important thing. When I put it in my pan, or when I put it in my bowl, we're just going to have to reshoot this whole video. So I leave it in the bowl that I do it in, and I spray it with cooking spray, flip it over, and spray it again. That keeps it from forming a hard crust as it's rising. So you need to do that before you let it rise. Then after it's risen, yes? Did you need me? Oh. Then after it's risen, punch it down like this and get it back to its original size. Sprinkle a little bit of flour on your table. Divide it in half. Make a little ball. Now for this, I just, for the regular loaf, I just form a little rectangle. And I ran out of pans, so I had to borrow one from my neighbor. I normally don't like cooking in wood. Oh my word. I normally don't like cooking in glass very well because you have to lower the temperature. So I don't like that. But just for this show, I ran out, so I had to borrow one from my neighbor, and that's all she had, which is fine. I mean, some people like, it's just your personal preference. There's nothing wrong with it. I just prefer not to. Okay, so then I just pat it in there like that for the regular bread. For the cinnamon bread, I forgot half the ingredients. Oh, brother. Can you go get me the cinnamon and sugar and a thing of butter, Jack, please? So are there any... Yes, bring the whole thing of cinnamon sugar and a thing of... Are there any questions,
Arnie
Mike?
says, do you use bread flour or all-purpose flour?
Great question. Was it Arnie?
Yes.
So Arnie, I use regular all-purpose flour. I do not... Just that one is fine. I do not use bread flour. You can use bread flour, it's just more expensive, and as you can see, my loaf turns out really nice and fluffy with just regular all-purpose flour. So Jack brought me my cinnamon and sugar. So what you do is you flatten it out in a small rectangle and get it really floured. And then, do I need to scoot forward more?
Sure.
Okay. Now I always end up doing mine too long. So just measure your pan. That's about right there. And then you want to measure it lengthwise, or I don't know, your width, I guess, longer. Have mercy, I'm having trouble tonight, yeah?
Do you want more comments or questions or no?
Sure, give me some more comments and questions while I'm rolling it out.
Penny said that's beautiful.
Thank you for saying it's beautiful, Penny. I'm glad you like it.
USA Kiwi says, love the way she smacked the dough. A few minutes ago, Teresa said, don't throw it away. You can do so much with bread, French toast, crumbs, and croutons. That might be related to somebody that the conversation that they're having on.
Okay, I have no idea. So then, to make cinnamon bread, you roll it out. Then take your butter. I just use my finger because I forgot half my utensils, so that's what I'm doing. Just spread it on there like so. Yes, I washed my hands before.
Sorry.
Oh my goodness, that couldn't have timed better. That is too funny. Good grief, now I forgot a dish towel. Can you throw me a dish towel, Mike?
Sorry, I was having...
Okay, I can see we're going to have to reshoot this video. Thank you, dear. Okay. So the problem with doing the butter with your hands is that you get a big mess. Okay. So then I have my pre-made cinnamon and sugar here. It's just half cinnamon and it's just sugar with a little bit of cinnamon in it. And then I liberally sprinkle it on here. You could use brown sugar and then sprinkle just some brown sugar and then some cinnamon if you want. Just get it all cinnamony really well. Mine.
Oh, okay.
Okay, then you roll it up like so. Dust off the extra. Dust off the extra. Take your pan. My pan is greased. I use bacon grease. Mom, I don't know where Mom learned that, but Mom learned that and I've used it and it gives your bread just an extra yummy flavor. Oops. Okay, there. Ta-da. Okay, so then you have both of yours like this. Then you're going to take a dish towel and set them either in the oven or just on the counter with a dish towel. Now I like to spritz the top with oil because it gives it a softer crust without being crunchy. I don't know, I just like that better. So then this is what it looks like when you're ready to put it in the oven. So then I put my bread in the oven at 350 degrees for 30 minutes. And then I bake it, and when it comes out, let me show you here, my big old mess. when it comes out, oh, I put butter on the top, but if you tap on the top, it should sound hollow. I put butter on the top for a soft crust, but if you like a crunchier crust, just don't butter it after it comes out of the oven. And then, when you're done, this is what your homemade bread will look like.
And that's the cinnamon one, right?
This is the cinnamon one. And here is the regular. Do you want to show it? There's Jack showing the regular. Doesn't it look yummy?
That looks super yummy.
His cute, handsome face. And of course, he's so sweet because he eats wonderful bread, right? All right, so now, are you hungry now? I have another one that's hungry now too. All right, so what other questions do we have? I'm going to sit down here. Did you want to sit down, Jack, or do you want to? Okay, other questions.
Donna says that cinnamon bread would be delicious. I want to make it for breakfast.
Now this cinnamon bread, thank you, Donna. It is very delicious, but you can take and make French toast out of it. And so you've already got your cinnamon and sugar, so this is super yummy for French toast. And we usually eat it toasted with butter on it.
Michelle asks, how long will the bread last before it goes bad?
About 2 to 3 days outside of the refrigerator and about 5 to 6 days inside the refrigerator, or you can slice it and freeze it for about 3 months. It never lasts. It doesn't last past usually an hour at our house. I make it and it's gone in an hour or so. So yeah.
Mel's asking, how do you store it?
So I just store it in a plastic bag, like a plastic zipper bag or an old bread bag.
Somebody's talking about you saying washed.
Yeah, everybody likes how I say washed.
A number of people say they like the glass because it gets a little hotter. Somebody here says I like the glass because I can see the sides browning.
Now that is a plus with the glass. You can see the sides browning, and it does get hotter. The problem is you have to be careful with your oven temperature. I always turn my oven temperature down 25 degrees when I use glass because I end up burning it if I don't, just because I'm not good at watching it. So.
Oops, sorry. Trying to find questions here. What kind of pan do you use?
This pan here is just an aluminum pan. Mike has a link for a pan on Amazon. It's an affiliate link, but he can throw that in there for you.
It's hard to see any questions. There's so much commentary about the sound and the camera.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys. We have no idea what's wrong with the sound.
I bet banana nut bread sounds great.
So yes, so what you can do is if you make the cinnamon bread, after you roll it out and you put your butter and your cinnamon on there, you could put in raisins, you could put in dried cranberries, you could put in your bread zest and orange, and put that in there with cranberry. You could put frosting on it if you want. There was something else. Oh yeah, you could add any sorts of nuts that you want. Anything like that. Any kind of nuts in with your cinnamon and sugar. My family doesn't like nuts. I'm the only, well, Ellie and I like nuts, but that's about it. So I don't usually put nuts in mine. But
Shiloh asks, can you freeze it?
Shiloh, you can freeze it. What I do is I slice it and then I put it in a bag and freeze it. Is it good? You like it that way when it's frozen? Jack goes and gets freezer bread too. Let's see. You can freeze it for about 3 months, 3 to 5 months, somewhere around there. Although usually it doesn't last that long around here. So.
Sorry. Have you ever made a thick, crusty bread? Do you soak the raisins, cranberries first?
No, I do not soak the raisins and cranberries first. I just put them in there like they are. I just sprinkle them on top of the cinnamon and sugar and butter and then roll it up. And a crusty bread, yes. You can make a crusty bread. Mine is not because I put butter on top, but just leave it without the butter. And you can put a pan of water in there and that helps form a better crust also. I will be making a more artesian bread one day, and I will show you how to do that with the fancy circle and all that. So we can do that one day too, yeah.
Christine says, can you mix half white flour and half whole wheat?
Yes, you can mix half white and half whole wheat, or you can use all whole wheat. Whole wheat will give you a denser loaf, so it won't be quite as fluffy. The white flour is what gives it the fluff. So if you use whole wheat, that's fine. It's better to use half and half instead of all whole wheat, but you can use 100% whole wheat. That's fine.
Oops, where did I lost it? Oh, April says my oven doesn't have a light switch, so only time the light comes on is when you open the oven door. Any other ideas?
Yeah, so just turn your oven on for like 3 to 4 minutes and let it warm up and then turn it off. And then put your bread in there. Now make sure it doesn't get too hot. So if you put your hand in there and it's too hot for you to hold your hand in there, it's too warm. So wait for it to cool down just for a minute. I'm not talking about touching the elements, people. Use common sense. But if you put your hand in there and it's too hot, then pull it, let it cool down for a minute. But 2 to 4 minutes, it just depends on your oven. You can warm it up and then turn it off, and then that'll be enough heat. You could also use a heating pad. Put a heating pad with a towel and put your bowl on top of that on low, and that will give it additional heat in the winter. I just have lived in houses where our only heat was wood heat, and we didn't have enough heat in the kitchen to get the bread to rise properly. And so that's why we do it that way, because our house was cold, so in the winter.
Nick July says, does this bread have a good texture for slicing and then for sandwiches?
Yes, it does. So you can see here, can you see me slicing it or no?
Yes.
Okay, so here I am slicing it. And you can see, it's got a really good texture.
Little closer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a great texture. That's kind of thick for sandwiches, obviously. I cut it a little too thick for that. We like it for toast, though, more. We don't really use it for sandwiches because we just eat it like this. You want another one? Or are you done?
I want another one.
You do? Okay.
Arnie says, can you use the same dough for Parker House rolls?
Yes, Arnie, you can. Which one do you want, cinnamon or white?
And somebody else loves chopped pecans in cinnamon bread.
Yes, chopped pecans with cinnamon bread would be really good. So would walnuts be very good.
Ginger says, do you add the raisins or other stuff to the dough, or do you layer it when it's rolled out?
I layer it when I roll it out. I put my butter, cinnamon, and then I put the raisins or nuts on top of the cinnamon and sugar.
Yay. Somebody asks, can you use half white and half coconut flour? I have no idea, do you?
Okay, you probably could. That's not a gluten-free recipe, and honestly, I have not had any good luck with gluten-free baking at all. Well, I did make a gluten-free bread one time, and I lost the recipe, so I have no idea what I did that turned out right. But I am gluten-free. Now, I don't know why you would want to use coconut flour instead of white flour. I have no idea. I've never heard of that before. I don't know how it would work. This recipe is cheap enough. I mean, this was maybe 50 cents worth of ingredients that it's worth trying if you want, but I've never tried coconut flour, so I'm sorry. I can't really tell you for sure on that.
Juliana says she missed the actually making of it and was wondering where she can rewatch it.
So as soon as it's done, you can, is she on Facebook or YouTube?
She's on Facebook.
So if you're on Facebook and you want to rewatch this, just as soon as the show is over, it'll just show up in Living on a Dime timeline, and you can just go and rewatch it there. And we've had so many tech issues with this one that I'm gonna redo it, and we'll have it on YouTube probably in a couple of weeks.
Margaret says, have you ever tried a chocolate bread?
No, Margaret, I haven't. Well, not like with yeast bread. I mean, I've had it with just a regular quick bread, but I've never had it in a yeast bread. That would be interesting to try. Send me the recipe at editor@livingonadime.com and I'll give it a try.
Oh, let's see. You're asking for the recipe, so I'll put that on there.
Mike's putting the link to our website where the recipe is. You can also get it in our Dining on a Dime cookbook. It's on page Dining on a Dime cookbook. Page 71. I should have had it open. Dining on a Dime, page 71. Dining on a Dime is back ordered. It's $21.95. We ran out, and October 1st is what I'm going to re-shipping them again. They should be in by then.
Kimberly says, does it matter what kind of yeast to use? The ones in 3-packet yeast or yeast from a jar?
No, it doesn't matter if it's a 3-packet yeast or yeast in a jar. But I have noticed they do have rapid rise yeast now. And I don't know if it's any different or if it is actually more rapid, but it works really well. And you can go if you're done. Are you done?
A lot of people are saying he's going to be full of bread.
He loves bread. Is that one of your favorite foods?
This one is really good too.
Yes, Dave loves it too, huh? Well, you can see since we've been sitting here, both the boys have eaten a half a loaf. That's why Mom loves you, because you're just so sweet.
You guys have to try this recipe. It's delish.
Karen says pizza dough with a question mark. I'm not sure if she's asking if we have
yes.
pizza dough.
So you could use this as pizza dough. You could use this as rolls. Say bye, everybody.
Bye.
Oops, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
You could use this to make rolls. You could use this to make pizza dough. You could stretch it out and make a French bread loaf. Let's see, what else can you make? Calzones. You can use it to make our cheeseburger rolls, which are on, let me see here. This is David and Jack's favorite recipe is our cheeseburger rolls, which is on cheeseburger rolls. Yeah. Dave loves the cheeseburger rolls. Let's see, where are the cheeseburger rolls? I've lost the cheeseburger rolls. Here they are. Oops, now I went past it. Cheeseburger rolls. So if you have Dining on a Dime, right there, it's on page 182.
A little closer.
Closer? This way?
Yeah.
Page 182 on Dining on a Dime. Right here, Dining on a Dime cookbook. And so you're going to join us now?
Yeah, I'm going to join everyone.
Dave just got out of the shower, so his hair's all wet.
Melissa is asking if we have any gluten-free bread recipes.
So, Melissa, I was just talking about that. I had one gluten-free bread recipe, and it worked great about 4 years ago, and I lost it, and I've never been able to recreate it. If anybody has a really good gluten-free recipe, bread recipe, please send it to me. But honestly, gluten-free just does not make good bread. I mean, it's just, it doesn't come out fluffy and nice and so luscious. So, you know, I am gluten-free myself, but I don't like it. I'm doing it kicking and screaming, so.
Margaret says, the kids look like they keep you baking a lot. How many loaves do you bake weekly? And also, Michelle says, do you bake those loaves 24/7 with those kids eating?
So I will. Do you want? Which one do you want?
This one.
So I will tell you that I probably haven't made homemade bread for at least, well, not just bread like this. Well, I mean bread like this for at least a year. I make cheeseburger rolls for the boys and the girls. But since Mike and I are mostly gluten-free, I've kind of stopped making it because it was a huge temptation for me, and it was really hard for me to stay on my gluten-free diet because this is probably, next to cinnamon rolls, this is probably my top dessert that I love. I mean, oh, it smells so good. Oh man, I may have to break my diet for this one. And so I haven't made it for a long time. I used to, it literally takes me 5 minutes to mix it up now. And so I'll probably start making it more often since my urge to eat it is waning. So thankfully, it's hard though because it's really super good.
Let's see. Sorry. How many loaves does this recipe make?
So this recipe makes 2 loaves. So I made 4 loaves today I made 8 loaves today for the demonstration of this video. So, yeah.
And Tracy's asking, can you add cheese to it?
Yes, Tracy, you can add cheese, and I have a recipe. Let me see if I can find
you just,
it here.
Put cheese on it in microwave.
You can just mix the cheese in with the bread if you want, but I thought I had. You could also do herbs. I have a round herb bread recipe in Dining, and you could add herbs, which is a half a cup of onion, a half a cup of parsley, a half a teaspoon of dill, a quarter teaspoon of thyme. And if you want to make, is it good? If you want to make the recipe in Dining on a Dime for the round herb bread, that's another variation. It's slightly different. It uses wheat bread instead of white. Let's see. I'm looking for the cheese. I know I have a cheese recipe in here. I'm almost positive. Maybe it was since it's been so long since I've written.
Cheese bread?
Yeah.
Didn't you used to make it with jalapenos and cheese?
Yeah, we made it with jalapenos, peppers chopped up, and we did it. Now you can also make Olive Garden breadsticks. It's the same recipe for the Olive Garden breadsticks, and those are on page 92 on Dining on a Dime, and it's the same recipe, except you roll it out in breadsticks, melt some butter, put some butter on there, and sprinkle with olive oil, or sprinkle with garlic powder. Here, onion cheese bread. Oh, I knew I had it in here. Page 94 on Dining on a Dime. So if you want garlic cheese bread, this is really super yummy, and this has dry mustard and Parmesan cheese, cheddar cheese, paprika, and onion. And if you just want plain cheese bread, you could just leave out the onions and just use the paprika and the dry mustard. It just gives it a little extra flavor. But yes, you can make cheese bread.
Big Bear wants to know, can you use this to make taco shells? Maybe soft tacos.
Okay, so Big Bear, you cannot use it to make tacos, but what you can do is, on page 97 is flour tortilla shells in Dining on a Dime Cookbook. So you can make your flour tortillas or you can make your tacos out of flour tortillas if you want it.
Oops. Somebody was asking if you've ever made sourdough bread.
I have made sourdough bread, and I am going to demonstrate that one day. I do have, let's see, where is it?
You do cheese bread.
Right here on page 88 is my potato flake starter bread for sourdough. Right here, page 88. You can make it with potato flakes. It's really yummy. And I'm going to demonstrate that for one of my videos.
Ginger's asking, can you use fresh or dried herbs?
Yes, you can use fresh or dried herbs, parsley, dill, garlic. You can chop up whole garlic if you want into dice it. And you can add, let's see, did I say dill and onion flakes or onion powder?
Teresa says if you use herbs, it's best to use dry.
Yes, do use dried herbs. Although I've used garlic. I've used chopped up garlic before, and it's worked well. But
Donna says herbs cheese bread, page 71.
Yes, there you go. Thank you, Donna. Herb cheese bread, page 71.
Let's see.
And the reason why I show you guys these in the book, so that those of you who have the book can know that it's in there and what page to look for. That's why I put it in there, so that it's easy for you to find. Yep. So here's the variation. I have cinnamon bread. I guess Dave was showing me. On page 71, I have the regular bread dough recipe, and then I have cinnamon bread. And can you have what? Hold your note still.
Oh.
Can I have a thing?
Wait, can I say something?
Oh, can you say something? Yes. What did you want to say?
Didn't you eat a donut once and it didn't affect you?
Well, so Jack was asking me on my gluten-free diet, did I eat a donut once and it didn't affect me? Yes, you're right, because I took my enzymes, so it helped. And in here I have how to make the cinnamon bread, and then I have how to make herbed bread, and then herbed cheese bread. And so some of the herbs that I have suggested here are chive, sage, thyme, but you could also use garlic and parsley, basil. I add basil and oregano and thyme in this, and I make Italian breadsticks. Put it with butter it, and then sprinkle garlic powder on top.
David Cooper says, "Hi, Big D,"
Hi.
on YouTube.
Hey, little D.
So that's my brother David, who David is named after, and David here is Big D, and my brother is Little D because he's 6'3". So.
Somebody asked if you use the same amount of fresh herbs as you would if you use dried herbs.
No. You don't. Fresh herbs and dried herbs are not the same. You will, so if you put in a tablespoon of fresh herbs and you put in a tablespoon of dried herbs, you will have a nasty recipe if you use a tablespoon of dried herbs. Usually for this size, for 2 loaves, you would want 3 tablespoons of fresh herbs per loaf. So this is a 2-loaf batch, so you'd want 6 tablespoons of fresh herbs. But if you're using dried herbs, make that a teaspoon. And a teaspoon and tablespoon are totally different. There's 3 teaspoons in 1 tablespoon. So don't use it. You cannot substitute those measurements. You have to divide it by 1/3 if you're going to use dried herbs.
Beth asks if you've ever ground your own flour.
No, Beth, I have not ever ground my own flour. I hear a lot of people do that, but that's not something that I've ever done.
I assume he's joking, but Big Bear says could use essential oil. I think that would be a joke, right?
Yes. No, I wouldn't use essential oils in bread.
Okay, so let me see. Kathy says I make homemade butter. I glop that on top of the homemade bread when it comes out of the oven in heaven.
Oh, yeah, that would be really good. Homemade bread and homemade butter. That would be divine.
April says I really want to try this. I also really want to try to make the Texas Roadhouse butter.
Oh, yeah. So, well, let's see. Mike, can you get that link? So, I have a funny story I'm going to tell you real quick about our Texas Roadhouse butter. So, we have a copycat of the Texas Roadhouse butter and the Texas Roadhouse rolls. Both are delicious and taste just as good as the Texas Roadhouse. But let's see, was it 3 years ago? 3 or 4 years ago. I can't remember. I think 3 years ago. Our Facebook page was doing hardly anything. I think we had maybe 6,000 people or something on there. And I put our Texas Roadhouse honey butter recipe on our Facebook page. And I'll have Mike put it on there. So share it again. We went from 6,000 likes on our Facebook page to 350,000 likes on our Facebook page. That thing went viral and blew our Facebook page up to date. So this Facebook page would not be where it is today if it was not for the Texas Roadhouse honey butter copycat, and it is good. And don't holler about me how much sugar it is. That's why it's sweet. It's good. So anyway, that recipe blew up our Facebook page. So guys, send it around again because...
Janice is asking again if the books are available in Canada.
So I'm really sorry, Janice, but they're not available in Canada. You can't order them through bookstores. If you have a U.S. post office box, I am more than happy to mail them to your U.S. post office box. But we can't ship them to Canada. It costs $35.
Or it's illegal to ship them to Canada.
I know. It costs $35 in the first place to ship one book, which is ridiculous. But then it's illegal for us to ship them in Canada. There is a Canadian law that prevents us from sending books to Canada. And when we were doing it and we didn't know there was a law, they kept taking our books at customs, and we couldn't figure out what was happening until finally one of our readers, or I don't know, Mike figured it out somehow. I don't know. Somebody figured it out that there's a law in Canada that they can't do that. So anyway, I'm really sorry. I wish we could, but we can't.
We do the ebooks though. Yes.
We do have ebooks, and so you can get the ebook version on our store at livingonadime.com. Mike will put the link up there to our store as soon as he gives me the next question. Oh man, I'm having a hard time resisting.
Karen says you could make little pizzas with the bread, just toast it, spoon pizza sauce and
Yes.
cheese and whatever you like on it.
Yes,
Yum.
you can use this as a pizza dough also, and you can make mini pizzas or big pizzas. It just depends on how you roll it out. That is going to be one
Mini
of my,
biscuit pizzas.
yeah, that's going to be, yeah, guys, check out Dave's YouTube video on how to make mini pizzas out of biscuits. He did a really good job. And it just depends on the size you roll them. So we'll make individual pizzas for everybody some nights. We don't do that often, but occasionally we'll do it.
Michelle says, would this be good to use in bread pudding?
Yeah, this would be really good in bread pudding. You just, I mean, if it lasts that long that you have some left over and it starts getting dried out and stale, which it never lasts that long here. As you can see, a whole entire loaf has been gone since the show started 50 minutes ago. You can just chop up the pieces, and if you have Dining on a Dime cookbook, right here we have bread pudding on page, let's see, bread pudding.
You might want to check that's actually the page because I found one error.
Uh-oh, did you find an error?
Yeah, with the cheeseburger roll.
Well, I thought I had bread pudding. I'm sure I have bread pudding in here.
Penny says, well, when you happen to have 8 loaves sitting around.
Yeah, exactly. Well, normally I don't have 8 loaves sitting around. It's just I had to do it for all the different steps. And now that we have to redo the video again because there's buzzing, it's going to be another 8 loaves probably.
Jennifer's asking who's the kid.
Who's the kid? This is my handsome son, Dave, who I love in my heart because he's so wonderful.
I'm not this full.
Cheryl's asking, do you only use name brand flour?
No, I use the generic. I use generic all-purpose flour, so just the store brand.
And
Here, right here, whoever wanted bread pudding, Dining on a Dime cookbook, page 286, and I didn't realize it is not in the index. You can thank my publisher previously for that. Page 286 is bread pudding. I knew I had it in there somewhere.
And Cindy says sourdough bread is the best.
Yes, sourdough bread is very delicious. I love it.
Looks like that's all the questions for the moment.
No more questions, comments, or
Concerned.
concerns? So we're with the Homestead Network, and we are on, of course, 6 p.m. on Saturday. Deep South Homestead is on at 7 o'clock Mountain Time, so that's 9 Eastern. You can go to YouTube, go to Deep South Homestead and click on their YouTube channel. They'll be live in about 10 minutes. What are you laughing at? Do I want to know?
Victor says, can you trade a book for Canadian bacon?
Oh man, I would love to trade a book for Canadian bacon. Canadian bacon's my favorite.
It's
I
just
love. I know.
It's really only ham.
It's good ham though.
Yeah, it's good ham, but it's just ham.
Anna said, what about ordering books from Amazon? Can't they get to Canada? And no, that's how I discovered, because Amazon told me we can't ship it there because it's illegal, and they canceled the order on it.
Okay, so here's the deal on the Canadian orders. No, you cannot order from Amazon. Mike said that we had our books in Amazon, and Amazon, for all you people who are doubting me,
Amazon.ca could do it, but we have to ship
Yeah.
it to them from Canada.
Amazon told us that there is a law that we cannot ship books to Canada. If we want to ship our books to Amazon CA, we can do that, but it costs a ridiculous amount of money to do it. So it's better for you just to get the ebook and print it out and put it in a binder than it is for us to ship it.
Amazon.ca said we had to print them in Canada before we sent them to them.
Oh, is that okay? So Amazon CA said we had to print them in Canada before they could accept them at Amazon. So, and we're not going to do that. That is not. I'm sorry. We love our Canadian friends.
We just
No,
encourage
that
you to
didn't
drive
work.
over the border and get a truckload of them and
Yeah.
smuggle them across.
I have some friends literally that live just down the street that go to our church, and they are Canadians. And I'm wondering if next time they head home, if I need to send 6 or 7 cases of books with them to ship out for me. But I'm sorry. I mean, we have tried. We really have tried. So.
Donna asks, English muffins.
So Donna, you can, but let's see here. English. Oh, good grief. My publisher did the index on this, and I'm not happy. This was like 10 years ago, but I'm not happy with the way they did it.
Was it Dad?
No, it wasn't Dad.
Oh, okay.
Oh my word. I could swear I had English. Great, here we just had the book reprinted. Now I'm finding typos.
See, that's what I did.
Let's see. I thought I had English muffin bread in here. Yeah. Let's see. English muffin bread. I'm looking real quick here, guys. Any other questions, Mike, while I'm looking for English muffin bread?
Sorry, looks like no more questions on Facebook. Big Bear was just saying, looks like there's a good black market for this book in Canada.
Yes, Big Bear, there is a good black market for this book in Canada. If you want to take a load up there, I'm sure it's a quick trip from Georgia. Just kidding.
Isn't Georgia like further away from?
Yeah.
I'm checking quickly.
It's way south. Mike's checking comments. If anybody else has any more comments, throw them on there real quick before we go here.
5 minutes.
So Dave, hold up our other books while we're waiting.
Yeah, we got this book.
We have all our other books are 50% off right now until they're gone.
Karen says page 87. Is that what you're looking for?
Probably. Yeah. See, I knew I had it in here. Thank you, Karen. Page 87.
Hold up a little more.
Page 87 in Dining on a Dime. Maybe. Oh, I know what my problem is. I'm looking at. So we have 2 indexes. We have a recipe index and a tip index because when the publisher went, they wanted indexes for both of them, and I was looking in the tip index. I apologize. So page 87. Thank you, Karen. And our other books are on sale, 50% off until they're gone. Once the print books are gone, these 4 books, Quick and Easy Menus, Penny Pinching Mama, 500 Ways I Got Out of Debt, Mom's Story, Menus from Dining on a Dime, and Dig Out of Debt. Those will all be out of print because we're not printing them anymore. I'm tired of shipping books. And get them while they're 50% off. And I don't know if they'll last till Christmas. Our sales have gone up 2,000% in the last 2 weeks. We don't know why, but we're very thankful. So if you want them, grab them. I don't know how long they're going to last. So
I know you've already told people you can freeze it, but Marco was asking, can you freeze it and how to defrost?
So when I freeze it, I just slice it up and then I put it in a bag or a Ziploc bag and I freeze it, and then I just pull off one piece, or sometimes I have to take a knife and pry it off, and I toast it or I just leave it on the counter to defrost.
And Penny says I might try this with coconut ganache bread pudding recipe I have. Holy cow, would it be good?
Oh my, that sounds good. Send me that recipe at editor@livingonadime.com, please. That sounds really good, Penny. Coconut, what is it? Coconut?
Oops, let me go back there again.
Chocolate coconut ganache?
No, I don't think there was chocolate.
Oh.
She said with a coconut ganache bread pudding recipe.
A coconut ganache bread pudding recipe. That sounds really good. Man, I might have to break my diet for that one.
Tammy says she's glad she got the awesome cousin discount years ago.
Yes,
Probably
I gave
the first edition.
Yeah, I gave my cousin a book along. And isn't it the best cookbook ever, Tammy? Yes, give me kudos.
Grandma's Homestead on YouTube is asking where are your books listed. It should be in the description.
So they're in the description below, but if you go to livingonadime.com, you can click on the store, or if you're on your mobile phone, it says click here for our books, and you can click right there and see which books we have. We have 35 books and ebooks. And if you go to our Patreon, we set up a Patreon account, which is a subscription to help us. It starts at $3 a month, and you get a free ebook from us every single month. It is reoccurring, but you can cancel anytime you want. But the first book is When Queens Ride By, Mom's favorite organizing ebook. And then on the 1st, you will get our Crock-Pot ebook for September. And so that's what we're doing for September. So yeah, if you want to get onto Patreon, and if you want our Crock-Pot ebook, you need to sign up before September. It's only $3, but before September 1st, because that's when you'll get it. So.
Actually, it went away. There was Valkyria from Iceland says, "Hi, I love your show."
Oh, hello from Iceland. How cool. Man, that's pretty nifty. Can we come visit you? I always thought it'd be neat to come up there and see Iceland.
Yeah.
Man, I just think we should sell the house and start traveling and go see Pia in Sweden and Sue in England. And then we can go to Iceland and Angie in Australia.
Dude. Let's go to Antarctica.
Antarctica.
That's pretty much it for questions. Denise says shout out from Minnesota.
Oh, and we could go to Minnesota. Ha! We've been there. I love Minnesota. I love the colors changing. All right, guys, we'll go over and visit Deep South Homestead on YouTube. They're on next. And please visit us at the homesteadnetwork.com for all the homesteaders that are on there. Mike and I are not homesteaders per se, but we do a lot of homesteading type things. And please like, share, comment, subscribe. It really, really helps us. And come visit us at livingonadime.com. And we thank you guys, and you have a good evening. And it looks like I need to go make more bread. Was it good?
Yeah. Yep.
Mr. Fresh out of the shower man. His hair is not oily. I don't want any comments. His hair is oily. He just got out of the shower, but couldn't resist the bread. We'll see you guys
smell
later.
it from inside the shower.
We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye.